Audio check 1 2 1 2. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for tonight's action here in the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. We're back here for round 19 of 24 here for season 12. And we're back here tonight at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, for the US Grand Prix, or as it's known on the F1 24 game, Texas. For me, there's only one US Grand Prix. You've got the Miami Grand Prix, you've got the Las Vegas Grand Prix, but the US Grand Prix is always here at the Circuit of the Americas. So, good to be back here. One of my favourite tracks, actually, on the calendar. Didn't used to be the case, but I've grown to love it over the years. Andy Fong says, where's the Scottish guy? Ian's not around at the moment. There was a small issue with his terms of contract, so he's not around at the moment, but he hopefully will be very, very soon. Although, having said that, the season is coming to an end now, so it might not be until September that you hear him on the mic for Purple Sector again. I don't know whether I'm going to be running. I'm thinking about running a 2-day league during the summertime, maybe Wednesdays and Sundays. No, he hasn't been sacked. He's the one that's left me in the dark, not me. I haven't got rid of him. But no, he'll be back. It's just at the moment, obviously the terms, his terms and conditions of his employment haven't been met. So my fault. But anyway, nonetheless, thanks for your concern. I'll let him know. Actually, I'll let him know that you asked about him after the stream. But yeah. Nonetheless, Circuit of the Americas, a track that I do enjoy. I like driving around it, and I like commentating on it as well. It's a good track, plenty of overtaking opportunities, and the tyre wear does tend to create a bit of a mixed-up strategy. So it's going to be interesting to see what people do here tonight. So yeah, I think we're in for a cracker. Also, I want to apologise in advance to anybody who's expecting me to be able to commentate with my usual smoothness. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my voice is considerably, what's the word? It's been very compromised due to the fact that I've got an extremely sore throat at the moment. I don't know why, just come about randomly, and yeah, it's very uncomfortable. So my elocution may not be up to its usual standard here tonight, so I just want to warn everybody in advance, and hopefully it isn't too much of a problem. I will actually be making more of an effort to try and overcome it than usual as a result of it, so it might actually balance out. Who knows, this extra effort that I'm going to be putting in may actually balance out the natural drawbacks that are being currently put in place by this current predicament. But anyway, we got claiming on provisional pole position by just 2.5 tenths at the moment over Matty Pitt, with Justify under half a second off of the fastest time being set by the championship leader Glenn, who I was saying recently, wasn't as quick in qualifying as he is in the races, and the races it always seems to go better, but he's totally bucked that trend over the last few races. He has been on pole position. I think it's got to be the last few races he's been on pole. He's certainly taken a lot of poles in the recent weeks here at the Purple Sector. Since the mid-season break, he's really come out of the box. He's really come out of the blocks, should I say, not the box. Really firing in the qualifying sessions here. We're going to get into the championship standings coming into tonight. Obviously, this is round 19 of 24, so we're into the final quarter now of the season. This really is the business end of the season, and things are heating up here in this championship battle. But when I say heating up, I mean, the trophy's being warmed up for this man here, because Glenn has got a massive lead in the championship. Coming into tonight, he's 67 points clear of Justify, who has somehow got into second place in the standings on 235. 1 point ahead of Davidoff, who's had an absolute mare in the last few weeks, although has been tuning in on the Motive channel for other streams. We've obviously streamed Monday night at Red Arrows F1 League, and Davidoff was tuning in for that yesterday, voicing his support for C. Faulkner, who's retired from this session very early, potentially a qualifying man FC Faulkner, I'm not quite sure. But Davidoff here, going to the final corner. Let's see if he can improve on his current personal best here. Currently P5 in this session. He does improve, but that was an invalid lap time there for Davidoff. Saying that, if he could do that without invalidating it, it would have been pole position. So Davidoff there, it bodes well. Obviously he knows that it's there, but who knows how much time he gained through that invalid lap time. Very often though, you can actually get an invalid lap time without gaining any time. It does happen quite often, actually, especially with strict track limits. You can dip four wheels off of the track, gain absolutely nothing, actually lose time. But obviously, because rules are rules, I guess it's black and white. If you go outside the track, then you get a penalty, and if you don't, then you don't. But ultimately, it's one of those things. You have to, I guess, you have to have a set rule with regular track limits. It's a little bit more discretion. You only really get penalised if you gain time, and even if you do gain time, you don't always get a penalty. With strict, it's very much letter of the law. If you're forwards off the track, regardless if you gain time, regardless of the circumstances, there's no discretion. That's it. You're getting a penalty or you're getting a warning, and then that will lead to a penalty if you continue to do it repeatedly. But currently Davidoff P5, but we know he's got the potential here. Has done a 31.9 that was invalid a few moments ago. But Glenn currently leading the way in this qualifying session at Matty Pitt with Justified T, Davidoff, Freddie P6 in this qualifying session at the moment with Oliver 7th place, Rexy Boy in 8th, followed by G.C. in 9th place. White Shadow is P10. As we see White Shadow coming out the final corner here, but that's not the lap that he would have wanted there. C. Faulkner in 11th, and Street Boy currently P12 at the moment. Jordan Hideous says, hello mate, thank you for the comms yesterday. Oh, it's no problem at all. It's always very fun to commentate on Red Arrows. I am supposed to be the permanent commentator now. I don't usually miss the races, but obviously the week before last, or well, technically last week, was a one-off, down to the fact that I had consumed an absolutely copious amount of alcohol during the afternoon, and obviously that was the reason why I couldn't be present for the comms. And even if I had been there, it would not have been up to a standard that I would have been able to be proud of. So I could not partake. But unfortunately, these things do happen every once in a while. Yeah. But yeah, nonetheless, good to see you, Jordan. And Jordan obviously raced in the purple sector, didn't you? A little while back. Hungary, I think it was, wasn't it? You're a bit too quick, mate. You're a bit too quick. But never mind. But in all seriousness, no, we're going to get into the championship standings here. So Glenn leads by 67 points, ahead of Justify in second on 235. We've got Davidoff just a point behind Justify in third place in the standings. So the battle for second is well and truly on, because Matty Pitt is only 15 points behind Justify. So you've got 15 points separating the next three in second, third and fourth places, Justify, Davidoff and Matty Pitt. Then you got Rexy Boy, who's in 6th on 135, followed by Freddie, who is in 7th on 120, T6 8th on 84, with Mark 9th on 56 points, Street Boy in 10th on 54, Mr. Johan 11th on 42 points ahead of Trauger, who is 12th on 39. Do apologise, guys, my voice is killing me. Gino Cedar 13th on 36 points ahead of Rock in 14th on 28. Oliver is 15th on 13 points ahead of Truckee, 16th on 12, with White Shadow in 17th on 8 points. R12 in 18th on 1. And Wild Pluto still yet to score this season. I do apologise, guys. I'm trying to get over this. Basically, I'm drowning in my own saliva at the moment. My throat's really sore, and for some reason, every time I talk for a long period of time, it's like I'm literally drowning. It's like I'm drowning. It's like my saliva is trying to pour down my throat, and I can barely talk. I will get through this. I'm just going to quickly grab a glass of water and see if that fixes the problem. But yeah, currently suffering a bit, but we'll get to the bottom of this no matter what. I might just have to take deep breaths over the course of the race, but yeah, it's killing me. Absolutely, it's a considerable impediment, but nonetheless, be back in a minute. Sorry about that, guys. I just had a swig of water. Hopefully, things should start to settle down a little bit now. We've got Basin in the comments there. Says, evening, gents. Hope you all have a good race. I'm looking forward to being back from Mexico. Good to hear, Basin. I think the last race I remember seeing you in was Miami, wasn't it? Early in the season. I remember you had to take a bit of a break. But yeah, good to hear. Obviously, Basin did start the season here at Bevel Sector, but unfortunately other things got in the way, so hasn't been able to be here for the mid part of the season, but that's great news there. And that's another regular who's going to be back in the league here. As we see Teeska out of the session, and Oliver also, C. Faulkner obviously went out of the session early, so we lost T and Oliver from this qualifying session here. We don't talk about Miami, says Basin. I understood. I'll try not to mention it until we get to Miami next season, and then it's going to come up. But yeah, in all seriousness, so good to hear that, Basin, and we look forward to seeing you back out on track amongst the drivers here in this Bevel Sector F1 League. Final part of the season, obviously, so good to see that you'll be getting some practicing before you get another full season next season as well, which is always good. So currently we see at the top of the leaderboard, Justify's got very close here to Glenn. You can see only 8 thousandths of a second now between those two at the top of the leaderboard. So it's so close here between them. And obviously Justify in the first part of the season was the qualifying king. You know, I always wax lyrical about Justify's pacing qualifying. Always seemed to be able to pull out a lap when it mattered. But recently, the championship leader has gone and taken that crown, that accolade. It's not just the races, it's not just the points, the consistency. It's also scorching pace in qualifying over these last few races, which has really propelled Glenn to the positions where he's been able to take the bull by the horns, that Red Bull car, and deliver the results in absolutely tremendous fashion. As he's currently on a lap at the moment, he's on an improvement through the middle sector by 1.5 so let's see if he can rub salt in the wounds here. He's on pole anyway, and Justify's already reached the checkered flag, so we're not going to see an improvement here from Justify. Here comes Glenn then, through the final few corners. Let's see if he can shatter the morale and destroy the confidence of his fellow drivers here. Through the final corner comes Glenn, and up towards the line. What is it going to be for him? He does go on pole position there. Davidoff briefly took it away from him by less than 1/10 of a second. But Glenn has gone and said, no, Davidoff, that's not happening, mate. Unfortunately for you, you're going to have to be looking at my rear wing going into turn one, because Glenn has just absolutely smashed it out of the park there by 0.4 of a second. Davidoff might have thought for a second he had it. Though, to be fair, I know these guys do sit in a party chat, so I would have thought that Glenn would probably have been warning the guys in the chat, saying to him, look, you know, yeah, you're about to get absolutely murked, or something along those lines anyway. But nonetheless, it looks like Freddie's out there at the moment. Actually, Freddie is on improve. Oh, no, he's not. No, he's on in lap, so he's not going to improve P5 currently in this session. We got, Basin says, looking forward to it. Had a really busy few months. Can't wait to be back. Cleanest league I've ever raced in. It's great racing. It is. It's really good. It's, very tidy driving out there. In all the races that I've covered this season, there's the odd incident, but you're never going to get a league that's absolutely perfect. And ultimately, the way that you get a league that's as close to perfection as possible is by having rules and stewarding, which is fair and unbiased, and ultimately responds to inquiries in a diligent fashion. And as long as you got that, then there's always that deterrent, and you're going to get a good bunch of drivers. But he's one of the best leagues out there, I have to say. Steve Faulkner did well yesterday. Said Jordan, fair play to him. Yeah, he did. Started at the back and made his way through very nicely indeed, I have to say. I was a bit worried at the start of the race, but he really did make the most of what was a bad situation at the start. Davidoff says, I messed it up in the last twisty bit before the back straight. Gas gutting there, because obviously Davidoff, to be fair, he did do 31.9 before that, which was invalid, but he actually did quicker on his fast lap there. But if that was with a mistake, then that could be ominous for Glenn here. This could be a real battle for the race win. So looking forward to seeing if Davidoff can give Glenn a race here, because that 4/10 gap, you look at it, you think, could be a bit worrying, but as long as Davidoff has a bit of pace up his sleeve, we could definitely see a bit of a battle here. Can't rule out Justify either, at less than half a second off for the fastest time. They're all three of them in the 131s, the only drivers in the 131s here. As Jordan said, I race in Red Arrows Racing on Mondays. Oh yeah, yeah, that wasn't to me. That I already knew that, obviously. Um, but yeah, Davidoff there, very impressed with Clen's pace. We're looking for new drivers, says Jordan. Join us. We something for the purple sector guys to look out for. Do they have two tiers? Can't they just promote people from tier two, Jordan? I would have thought, because I know they got two tiers there. I know they got. I've seen like Bennett's racing in tier two. He used to be rapid back in the day. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking. I mean, I know it's a quick league, but yeah, he won an old league that I used to commentate on. I think it was 8 times he won it, the OG league. So yeah, he was quick. He was pretty quick. I don't know if he's gone off the boil a bit, but yeah, we got Basin says he watched the race yesterday. It was a good one. Yeah, indeed it was. Jordan says he did have an awful race. He gave up. Yeah, well, it wasn't too bad, mate. Obviously, it started off. Obviously, didn't go to plan with the early switch to the mediums. 22 laps, I think, was a bit of a stiff test to put them on. And obviously, it was still a bit wet as well. But I'd say you were actually the best driver on those mediums in the early stages, despite the fact that you put them on 3 laps early. You were actually still, I think, doing the best times in the first part of that medium stint. So yeah, could have gone better, but yeah, it was definite potential. I have to say, your pace in those changeable conditions where it was very slippery was impressive for what it's worth, because it was way too wet for the slicks, and you didn't put it in the wall, and you didn't crash out of the race, and there's something to be said for that. But yeah, Jordan Hillier says, I think Red Arrows Racing is good quality. Yeah, it's definitely up there. I'd say it's definitely near the top tier in terms of, I'd say pace is probably about 8 out of 10, and I'd say, yeah, cleanliness probably similar. I'd say it's probably a little bit quicker than this league. Not much in it, probably I'd say about half a second average. I'd say it's a little bit quicker, but certainly both leagues are ultra clean. But here we are then, we're about to go racing here for the US Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector F1 League. And we are lights out, we're underway. And looks like a good start there from Clen. Got a lovely jump off of the line. Davidoff might have to defend here from Justifies. He's looking around the outside into turn 1, and Justifies going to try and get this one around the long way here. And Davidoff has to leave the space. We see a bit of a twitch in the background there from Freddie, who loses out to T. C. Faulkner has tried to move up on a few races here. G.C.Dot's lost out to Street Boy, down to P11, so it's not the great start there for G.C.Dot, but in the meantime, it's Clen out in front, leading the race out of Davidoff, with Justify absolutely all over the back of Davidoff at the moment. You can see there, less than 0.2 of a second between them. You got T now Haston in the back of his teammate Matty Pitt as well on this opening lap of the race. Matty Pitt still in that battle for second in the championship, along with Justify and Davidoff. But as we see, that was a close call there between the two Mercedes, and T had to get out of it, and it's now looks pretty vulnerable here to the likes of Freddie Oliver and C. Faulkner. Oliver's having to defend from C. Faulkner as they come down this long back straight here for the first time. Street Boy also attacking on White Shadow Hole here. Is he going to make this move going into the left-hander at the end of the straight? He's going to have a look down the inside. He's well alongside here, and he's going to make that move there to Street Boy up into 9th place. Beautifully done there from him, and that will be an extra point there in the bag as things stand there for him. Clen has got almost a second, pretty much just over a second of a gap here to Davidoff and Justify now. So he's putting daylight between himself and the others here. That's what he needs to put himself in a bit more of a comfortable position at this point. So it's Clen from Davidoff and Justify. Matty Pitt is not really putting these guys under too much pressure on this opening lap of the race. He has gapped his teammate Tito by over a second, so he's sitting comfortable there in 4th place. Freddie will be looking to try and attack on T as quickly as he can to avoid losing touch with the top 4 drivers here. But Clen out in front, looking very, very good at the moment. As into turn 1 they come to start lap 2 of the race. There they all are, and Clen is out the front with a looking to settle into a rhythm here. I'll tell you what, he's looking very good out the front. He seems to have the pace in qualify by 0.4 of a second. Obviously, we saw him do his pole lap, and so far so good here for championship leader. Don't want to say champion-elect yet, but he's a long way ahead. And after tonight, we'll only have 5 races left in the season, so we're approaching the point where we've got to ask ourselves, when can he finish this? When can he end this season and take the championship? But nonetheless, we're not at that point yet. We're at least a couple of rounds away from that. But we've got Justify here lining up a move here on Davidoff, and he's made the move with the DRS and is up into 2nd place. And we got now Matty Pitt also making a move on Davidoff. So Davidoff being knocked while he's down there by 2 drivers down to 4th place off at the podium there. And Justify can now try and chase after Clen, but he's got Matty Pitt close on him, as we can see. G.C. moved ahead of White Shadow, and White Shadow, I think, might have made a mistake there because he lost 2 places there to G.C. and Rexy Boy, and that was, yeah, a bit unfortunate there for White Shadow, but a long way to go here in this race. Still chances here to come back. Obviously, they're all on the medium tyres, so there's no real difference in strategy. There's no real opportunities to do something different at this moment in time, but a long way to go here in this one. Jordan mentioning how Soggy Biscuit is too fast in the Red Arrows Tier 1. Yeah, but you got Super Striker and Boa in the same mould. Around certain tracks, Boa is in the same level, possibly even the same or quicker than those two. Super Striker around a couple of tracks. I remember Monaco being one of them that stood out to me. Canada as well, I think, was one where he was insane. Or was it? Might have been actually. Might have been Spain. It was one of those two where. No, it wasn't Spain because there's not. It's not in. It was the one after Monaco. But I always think to myself, because obviously Red Arrows don't follow the real season calendar like Purple Sector do. So I was thinking to myself, it's the one after Monaco. Whatever track was after Monaco, Super Striker dominated that one as well. There was two races in a row where he was absolutely stomp on everyone. But yeah, currently playing out the front with a 2.5 second gap, doing similar to what we saw Super Striker do at Monaco in the Red Arrows League earlier this season. Davidoff has left the session here, so I wonder what's happened there to Davidoff. Davidoff, is it his connection or is it a loss of heart here? I don't quite know. Hopefully not the latter, hopefully the former, and he can get himself back in as soon as possible here. But his car is blurred out and his teammate Freddie currently ghosting through him. Scott, if you're listening to the stream still, mate, let us know what's going on. Let us know what's going on because we're a bit worried now. Have you just disconnected, mate? Let us know what's happening. Keep us posted. But in the meantime, Glenn is still out the front, but he's really settling into a rhythm right now. He seems to have considerable pace on everybody else. Justify Matty T with Freddie also close as well. In fact, from 2nd down to 7th, it's actually really close. C. Faulkner is now driving through Davidoff's AI up into 6th place. And C. Faulkner now, well within this train of cars here in a battle for the podium, but currently Glenn is just totally ripping everyone a new one in these early stages of the race. He's been gaining on average about 8 tenths per lap so far. He's well out of the DRS threat, and they're not on. There's no difference in strategies. They're all starting on the medium, so he's in a beautiful position. Oh no, Davidoff there confirming my suspicions. The internet's died. Still a long race, mate. I'll tell you what, if there's a safety car, then you're back in it. Oh, mate, that is annoying. That is annoying. Hopefully Davidoff can get himself back in. Vodafone. Yeah. I've never heard a positive word about their internet. So I have to say, they're a good phone carrier. They're pretty good. What was that screech from me there? Jesus Christ. Yeah, they're pretty good. Their deals are quite good for phone contracts. But yeah, Wi-Fi is not their strong suit, I have to say. As we see Justify here coming under significant pressure here from Matty Pitt for 2nd place. We also see Oliver there moving ahead of Davidoff's AI up into 7th place. So Scott's still absolutely plummeting down that leaderboard. He says, anyone know how to rejoin if you die mid-race? Just go onto your notifications on PlayStation and accept the invite that you've been sent. It has your invite history on the notifications. So all you have to do is just select the invite and it should get you back in. And then obviously you immediately respawn and you'll see your car going around and you just have to unpause from the menu and you'll be given control of the car again. You're an Xbox. Jesus, didn't even. Oh, bloody hell. That's a tricky one. I don't have your EA ID, do I? Oh, bollocks. I don't know. Hold on, let's see. Because I'm the only one that can sort this out. Everyone else is racing, so let's see. Right, Davidoff, what's your AI ID? We need to be quick about this. Oh dear. Also, how do I add someone? Doesn't really give any clue. Oh, I can't add someone on EA during a session. I'll tell you what, mate, if there's a safety car, we'll do it. We'll do it when there's if and when there's a safety car. We'll get you back in, because I'm sure there will be. If, yeah, if there's a safety car, we'll jump out and we'll sort that out for you. No, that's all right, mate. If there's a safety car, we'll do it. We'll do it. But yeah, in the meantime, the gap's come down a little bit actually between Cled and Justify. It's now 2 seconds, so looking like Justify and Matty Pitt are both closing in a bit on the race leader. C14 is now within a T. Oh, T though, very late on the brakes there into turn 1. A little bit naughty there from T, and he loses out there to Freddie. So Freddie there sneaking through up into 5th place, but C14 there has really made gains in his opening few laps. He's now got ahead of both Freddie and Freddie and T. So C14 has been flying here in the opening part of this race, as we see Clen continue to keep Justify Matty Pitt at bay here. Matty Pitt's now got a 3-second time penalty for track limit, which is really going to hurt him because he's currently in the battle for the podium places. As things stand at the moment, he'd lose out to C. Faulkner, currently running in 4th place. So C. Faulkner would be on the podium, but then again, over the course of this first stint, Matty's probably been a bit quicker than these guys behind Freddie, C. Faulkner, T, and the likes. As we see Freddie there moving up into 4th place there, down the long back straight ahead of C. Faulkner. And currently Clen is still keeping the gap at 2 seconds to Justify Matty Pitt, but Matty is all over the back of Justify here like a cheat. Looking to try and make a move. I would have thought down the start finish straight. If he can stay close here coming to the final corner, then he'll have a golden opportunity here. But obviously doesn't just need to get ahead of him, he also needs to pull out a 3-second gap as well. So Matty throw a spanner in the works for his chances of getting a podium here tonight. But nonetheless, this is the situation here. The gap now under 2 seconds between Clen and Justify. So Justify and Matty Pitt are both bringing the gap down to Clen. I wonder if Clen has just taken a little bit too much out of his tyres in the opening few laps of the race. Potentially now it's starting to come back to bite him a little bit, and that really could present an opportunity for these two, Justify and Matty Pitt, to bring themselves back into this race. These two are gapping Freddie and Faulkner by a bit. These two are still battling over 4th and 5th places, Freddie and Faulkner, but Justify and Matty Pitt are managing to close the gaps to the leader despite the fact that they're battling, and that I think shows that potentially Clen could be really struggling at this point. Obviously, after having flown out of the blocks, his pace seems to have dropped off significantly, because it went up to 2.5 seconds in the gap to these two a couple of laps ago, and it's now 1.8. So that's a sizable gain from Justify on the championship leader Clen here in the last couple of laps. As we see Matty Pitt now with the DRS is going to make the move on Justify at the end of the straight, and he gets it up into 2nd place there. Matty Pitt with a lovely move, and can now try and focus even more in his attentions to the race leader, who is well under 2 seconds ahead. You saw the gap come to 1.5 at the end of the straight there, as Matty Pitt had DRS. But let's see what Matty Pitt can do now. He's in clean air. Obviously, he's got that penalty, which will be a bit of a dent to his morale at this point in the race, but a long way to go. And certainly has time to try and make up for it. But Clen is still out the front here with a 2-second gap, so he's extended it a little bit over that last lap there. 0.2 of a second he gained on Matty and Justify with DRS. A little bit too far away on Matty just at the moment. Got C. Faulkner here, looking to the inside of Freddie into turn 1 again, just a bit too far away, as we see T into the pits now. So T is making a stop at the end of lap 7, quarter of the way through the race, putting the hard tyres on. That's going to be a long stint on the hards for him, and his tyres are going to be a lot more worn than those around him at the end of the race. So that, it'll be a short-term gain, but can it ultimately, can he avoid it being a long-term pain? That's the question, which we're going to find out. But in the meantime, Justify still hassling Matty Pitt. Obviously, Matty made the move on him a lap or so ago, but Matt Justify is not giving up. He's not lying down, as the gap is still 2 seconds between Clen and these two. As here comes Justify now with DRS, and he's going to breeze past Matty Pitt. Lucky he's not even there. And the DRS once again OP as anything down that back straight. The gap once again under 2 seconds here, but the gap this time last lap between Clen and Matty Pitt was 1.5, so this seems to have gone up a little bit, whilst Justify and Matty Pitt have been battling in earnest here for 2nd place. The battle was somewhat intensified, although saying that, Justify just gained a couple of tenths there. It's now 1.6 between Clen and Justify, so now maybe he's looking to try and be the challenger from the pack here is Justify. As we see, it's now just dipping. Well, it dipped under 1.5 a moment ago. Yeah, it's back under 1.5 again here. So definitely Justify looking to seize the initiative here on the back of Clem. But Street Boys moved ahead of Oliver up into 7th place as they're coming through the penultimate corner. As we see in the background there, we've got Oliver diving into the pits here at the end of lap 8. Oh, almost went into the wall on the left-hand side there. That was a close call there for Oliver, but gets away with it. As we see Clen now a couple of tenths off of Justify a couple of tenths off of Clen this lap so far. We see C. Faulkner has lost out to Freddie, so Freddie up into 4th place there, coming into the S's. But these two continue to battle each other pretty hard at the moment. Freddie has got a penalty, which will be a solace to C. Faulkner at the moment, knowing that he doesn't have to get ahead of him. But these two will be looking further up than where they are, and it will probably be frustrating that they're not quite on the pace of the likes of Clen or Justify and Matty Pitt at this moment. It does appear as though these three are the gold standard here in this race so far. There's Matty Pitt getting close under the brakes there with the DRS on Justify, but no dice there for him. We see C. Faulkner getting back ahead of Freddie. So these two continue to swap places here a bit. Obviously, C. Faulkner in the end maintaining that position, but would appear that I think Freddie might have made the move on him again before the DRS zone, because C. Faulkner, I just saw his arrow move up and go past him. But obviously, the last I saw, he was already ahead of him, so there must have been 2 changes there in the space of a quick succession. But yeah, currently Clen nonetheless has got a gap of 1.8, so he's extended it a little bit this time around over Justify, not by much, but he's just managed to come back a little bit there and respond to that potential pressure from these two, Justify and Matty Pitt. As we're third away into this US Grand Prix, and it's currently Matty Pitt still putting this pressure here on the back of Justify. We've got Freddie, who's still really keeping C. Faulkner honest here. It's battle for 4th, 5th places. These two have been going at it for a number of laps now, and neither of them have been able to pull away from the other. Same with these two here, Justify and Matty Pitt. It's been back and forth, lap after lap, one of them leading the other, taking it in turns to be Clen's closest challenger here tonight. But Clen has just kept these two at arm's length since the beginning of the race. As we see Street Boy there with a 3-second time penalty. See T here on the back of White Shadow in this battle for P10, fighting over a point at the moment. T is a 3-second penalty there. Track limits as well. See Freddie there moving ahead of Faulkner up into 4th place down the inside of the back straight. So now he's gained a place, which is good to see. Freddie with that penalty obviously, but Faulkner will be aware of that. Freddie will know he needs to pull out a bit of a gap here to have that position truly. But T has made a move here on White Shadow Hole up into P10 again. As those two continue to run close here. Oliver now will be looking to try and knock White Shadow Hole while he's down here, down the end of the straight. He looks to the inside and makes that move under the brakes there. Oliver up into 11th place, nicely done there. And White Shadow Hole down to P12 as we see Clen, the race leader, into the pits here at the end of lap 10. So coming in for an early stop compared to the other two, covering off any potential undercuts there. Clen will have the faster tyres for these next couple of laps. I wonder if Justify and Matty Pitt will be looking to go long now and give themselves a tyre delta in the final part of this race. This could help both of them to try and close in on Clen in the final part of this race. If I was Justify now, I'd try and stay out until about lap 13 or 14, give myself a 3 or 4 lap tyre delta, and then potentially have more chance, more confidence in the final stint. Obviously, you'd be a little way behind. It'd probably be about 5 seconds behind instead of 2 seconds behind. But the advantage is you'd have so much more pace, and that confidence in the final stint. Having the faster tyres isn't just about pace per lap, it's about confidence as well. If you pick up a penalty when you've got faster tyres, there's more you can do about it. When you're in the first stint and you're driving around and you're on the slower tyres or whatever. Oh, Clen has got a penalty, you're right there, Davidoff, well spotted. So that will help Justify, but Matty Pitt has just got ahead of Justify, which could be a bit of well, it could certainly be something of a ball ache here for Justify, because now he's obviously can't be in clean air, can't be maximising his pace. Saying that though, these two are pretty evenly matched. I wouldn't have thought that Justify is going to be getting held up behind Matty Pitt, but for sure, psychologically, it's not going to be what he wants, being stuck behind Matty Pitt at this point, because he will naturally feel like he can go quicker. As you see both of them coming into the pits here, which is the nightmare situation for both of them. So they've gone for they're going to have 1 lap fresher tyres than Clen, so it's not really going to make a big difference here. Clen will obviously come out with about a 3-second lead because his tyres will have been a lot quicker on this outlap. So yeah, he'll come out probably about 3 seconds ahead, I would have thought, 3 or 4 seconds ahead. So now it's about whether these two on 1 lap fresher tyres can make the most of their very slim advantage here. But Clen, they're into turn 1. Pardon me. As there we see the other two going through turn 1. So yeah, 3.5, 4 seconds the gap between Clen and Matty Pitt at this moment. Yeah, Clen is currently 2.5 seconds out the front at the moment. So yeah, he's got Rexy Boy in P2. Rexy Boy still yet to pit here in this race, going long in this first stint. Likewise, G.C. and Davidoff. Obviously, his AI is in the car. That's not actually Davidoff. But yeah, currently, Rexy Boy is going to give himself a few options here. If a safety car comes out, then he'll gain a few places here. Well, I was saying that the gaps aren't really big enough. I don't think. I think he might come out still near the back of the pack if the safety car were to come out now. Scott says my AI is giving my teammate DRS to be nice. That's very kind of your AI. That's I'm sure Freddie's very appreciative of that. As we see Matty Pitt there moving ahead of Rexy Boy up into second place, goes through the Ferrari there, and Justified now pulling up onto the back of Rexy Boy as well. Freddie's moved ahead of Davidoff up into P6, as we now see, Davidoff's AI is being passed now by C. Faulkner as well, so C. Faulkner up into 7th place. Rexy Boy in the pit, so is G.C. Is Davidoff's AI going to do the same? Yes, he is. So that's now the 3 medium runners in the pits, and everybody has changed tyres. Nobody's on the tyres they started on anymore, so that's now everybody having completed their mandatory 2-tyre strategy. And currently the gap between Clen and Matty Pitt has actually extended a bit. It's now 5.5 seconds, so Clen is really showing that he's got the pace over these two, Matty Pitt and Justify. We obviously saw in the first stint he made a much quicker start to the stint, so it appears that Clen is very, very good on fresh tyres, but maybe, just maybe, he might take a bit too much out of the tyres, so who knows, we could be seeing a bit of repercussions towards the end of the stint, potentially. Although, is this just hopium? Is it just me hoping we have a battle for the win? I think it is, yeah. I think it is, yeah. Yeah. Let's just, yeah. Why can't I just accept that Clen is too quick? I mean, it'd be nice if I wasn't delusional, wouldn't it? It'd be really nice. As Steve Faulkner moved ahead of Freddie up into 4th place at the end of the straight, so now it can be Freddie's turn to try and overtake Steve Faulkner with the DRS. As Scott says, just hoping Justify wins his home race. Is it Justify's home race? I didn't know Justify's American. That's interesting. Actually, no, that does ring a bell. I do vaguely remember seeing the US flag next to Justify's PSN. So actually, yeah, the point. I don't know why I hadn't mentioned that before. That would be iconic, wouldn't it? That would be very apt if Justify were to take the win here tonight. I tell you what, that'd be very cool indeed. But it's looking unlikely at the moment, Scott, because he's 6 seconds behind Clen. So unless he gets ahead of Matty Pitt pretty sharpish, I think the likelihood is we're going to be seeing the championship leader taking that win. Albeit, I suppose Clen does have that penalty. Oh, has Matty Pitt's got another penalty here? So Matty Pitt has now got 6 seconds worth of penalties, which is inevitably going to drop behind Justify. But he's well ahead of C. Faulkner running in 4th, and C. Faulkner himself has a 3-second penalty, so that's only a 3-second delta that C. Faulkner's got in favour of himself over Matty Pitt. So at the moment, it would be no dice for C. Faulkner, even if he were to get within 6 seconds of Matty Pitt. He needs to be within 3 seconds of him, and that's it, even pending any potential warnings, because we all know that if he's already had 2 warnings, then he'll get another penalty the next time he oversteps the limits. But Justify, nonetheless, is putting pressure here on the back of Matty Pitt in his pedal for 2nd place. These guys about 6 seconds behind Clen, who's continuing to do the business out the front, as Freddie's moved ahead of C. Faulkner up into 4th place. But these two have been trading places for the last few laps, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a recurring theme here between these two. So we see Justify here on the back of Matty Pitt coming to the final corner as we come over the line to complete lap 14. Halfway through the US Grand Prix here at Austin, Texas for the Circuit Americas for the US Grand Prix here. Justify will be fancying probably a move through the DRS zone down the back straight on this lap. If he can stay close through the S's, then this could be a golden opportunity for him to make this move and move into second place at what is a home race for the McLaren driver. As Glenn is still out the front here with a 6-second gap over these two and continuing to assert his authority on these drivers behind. Justify is now going to look to try and get a good exit here out of this hairpin. And if that can be achieved, then we're going to be seeing a DRS move down this straight. Here we go, under half a second. It's borderline. It's close. I reckon we're going to see an overtake here. Here we go. McLaren getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Now to the inside. Matty Pitt doesn't bother to defend it. That's job done there. Justify moves up into second place. And that, in the end, was actually much easier than I thought it would be. The McLaren there with significant straight line speed. Obviously, half a second isn't usually as clear cut as that with a DRS overtake, but that one was far too routine. Due to the superior straight line speed there of the McLaren. T. Faulkner and Freddie still batting for 4th and 5th places at the moment as well, as we flick to that battle for that we're watching right now. Street Boy's also got ahead of Rexy Boy as well, his teammate at Ferrari, up into 8th place. But Justify has managed to get up into 2nd place. The gap under 7 seconds between Clan and Justify, so are we going to see a major gain in the last few laps? Justify needs to gain 4 seconds in these next 13 laps to have a chance of getting the win here. Still a fair way to go, still a chance, but Clen seems to have the upper hand at the moment. In the meantime, Clen is all over the back of Justify here as they battle it out over 2nd place. As you can see here, Matty Pitt looking to try and seize the initiative here on the back of the McLaren driver at the end of the straight. Clen is just out in front, enjoying himself here, 7 seconds, looking like Justify isn't able to close that gap despite being in clean air. Although, saying that though, the Mercedes in his rearview mirrors will certainly be inhibiting his ability to chase after the leader, because it's that psychological thing, when you can't shake off the car behind, it's difficult to really get on up the road. And DRS has a lot to say for that one. Justify still running in 2nd place at the moment, but the gap's 7.5 seconds now between Clen and our 2nd place driver here. Freddie's still keeping Faulkner on his toes and battle for 4th place as T's lost out to Oliver here, as these two are side by side. We're riding on board there with the side camera in the cockpit of T. Here we go then, back to trackside now. T around the outside, and Oliver there backs out of it in the end. T there making a move into the ultimate corner, up into P6 again. There, nicely done there from T. But Oliver's going to get DRS down this straight and is going to have a golden opportunity to return the favour here. In the meantime, Freddie has moved back ahead of C. Faulkner, but back to the battle here between T and Oliver. Oliver down the inside into turn 1. Is he going to make that move? He is going to make that move. He overshoots the corner a little bit. T going for a cutback on the outside through turn 2, and T there beautifully executes around the outside and returns the favour absolutely brilliantly there. This is a great battle here between these two, and T holding on to 6th place for the time being. As in the background there, the 2 Ferraris still going at it, Rexy Boy and Street Boy for 8th and 9th places. Freddie and Faulkner giving it everything for 4th and 5th, justifying Matty Pitt still dicing it out over 2nd and 3rd places here. Matty Pitt too far back at the end of the straight, tucks in for the time being. But action wherever you look at the moment. See Faulkner has got DRS down the end of the straight as we see Freddie defending the inside line. Faulkner has got to go around the long way, can't do it. It's going to try and go for a cutback. That's not going to happen in a month of Sundays there for Faulkner. Freddie holds on to 4th place as well, as Oliver here now looking to the inside of T at the end of the straight. Has a little look as he gives him the space there. T in the end very hesitant actually at the apex, but managing to keep it around the outside there. Coming into the next right-hander, holds on to P6 there in that one. Street Boy still keeping Rexy Boy somewhat honest here in this battle for 8th place. We see Faulkner back ahead of Freddie. It's a 4th place through this final sector as these two continue to scrap it out. Freddie, though, will have DRS now down the straight where he made the move. No, he doesn't, because Faulkner was behind the detection point. So Faulkner played an absolute blinder there. Made the move just after the detection point. So he's actually managed to get that move and get some DRS as well. That's like holding someone's head down in a boxing match and then uppercutting them. Literally. That's like, yeah, very similar. In the meantime, we see Oliver can't make the move on T at the moment. We also see Street Boy in the background a little bit too far away on Rexy Boy at this moment in time. And Matty Pitt here still keeping Justify close to him here for 2nd place, but has lost a bit of time over the last couple of laps here, I have to say. The gap's looking a bit more comfortable in favour of Justify at the moment, as we now see Freddie again losing out to C. Faulkner, but who has the DRS? This is going to be close here. Freddie getting a beautiful cutback, but C. Faulkner's got better straight line speed. You can tell already, saying that he will probably lose out with the DRS here. No, Faulkner has DRS again. This guy's a genius. I tell you what, he knows exactly when to make these overtakes. He's looking at those detection points, those lines before the detection zone, and he knows exactly when to put those brakes on and when to back out, when to lift off the throttle. He's played a blinder now twice in the last lap. He's making sure that he's got that DRS, and C. Faulkner strategically really is schooling Freddie at the moment. Freddie needs to wake up a little bit earlier here if he wants to get around this guy, I'll tell you that. Matty Pitt a little bit too far away on Justify at the moment, coming into turn 1. But Freddie here is very close on Faulkner. Here we come down the start finish straight. DRS here for our Williams driver. We see he's just a little bit too far away here, coming into turn 1. We see T there with a 3-second penalty for multiple track limits, so his race has got a little bit worse there, I have to say. He's now got a 15-second penalty instead of a measly 12-second. That looks like Justify is threatening to break out of DRS now to Matty Pitt. The gap, best part of a second here, almost over a second here. In the meantime, Rexy Boy's got ahead of Oliver. Oliver's lost out to Rexy Boy and Street Boy, the two Ferraris up a position each. And what has happened to Oliver here? He is falling apart. He seems to be struggling here for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Has he put the AI in the car? I'm not quite sure. But whatever the case, Oliver here is going backwards at the moment. C. Faulkner once again losing out to Freddie with DRS. Freddie's made that move at the end of the straight. But is Faulkner going to go for a lunge just after the detection point like he did a couple of laps ago, coming into this final sector, the penultimate corner of the lap? If he can do that again, that would be an unbelievable skill. It probably wasn't a fluke as well, if he can repeat it. But Freddie might be a little bit more alert to it this time. Might be ready for it. Saying that, I don't think Rex Faulkner is even close enough to make it happen this time around. T, in the meantime, has moved ahead of Street Boy up into 7th place, coming through the stadium section. Street Boy's trying to get a cutback here. He's got himself alongside and going side by side through this section. He hasn't really got enough momentum there, and T managed to keep it on the outside there, holding on to 7th place. Rexy Boy still leading this train of cars there. T, Street Boy, Oliver in the background. There's Do Not See not far away as well. So 5 of them battling over P6 here in the closing stages of this US Grand Prix. Should be an exciting last few laps to the race here between these guys. Glenn's still out the front with a 7.5 second gap over Justifier. Hasn't gone up too much in the last couple of laps, but these two are occupying each other, I think, more than the potential of a win for either of these two at the moment. I think it's more about getting the best of the rest here. Right, I've just got a friend request from Davidoff, so let's see if I can accept it. If I can, I should be able to invite him in the race. Yeah, I can. Right, let's see if he shows up on my friends list immediately. If he does, then we could be in luck here. He's not coming up. So, oh, hold on, refresh. Let me refresh. There we go. Oh, hey, Davidoff, you should be able to invite now, mate. So I didn't realise I could accept invites in the session. But now I know that, that's good information. Now all we need is a safety car. But yeah, I think Davidoff's best hope now is maybe salvaging a point or two from this race. I think anything more than that would be miraculous at this stage. But nonetheless, it'd be good to see him back out on track for these last few laps of the race. Oh, he said it doesn't work. Whoops. Got excited over nothing there. Yeah, it's worth a try, it's worth a try. Anything's worth a try. But Matty Pitt still keeping Justify honest here for second place. As they're coming down this long back straight. Might have a chance here to make the move at the end of the straight. Yes, no props, mate. Worth a try. As we see Matty Pitt down the inside. Going to make a move for second place, is he? Yes, he does. Lovely stuff there from Matty. Justify couldn't do anything about it there. We see Freddie also looking to line up a move here on C. Faulkner as well. Freddie's now got a 6-second penalty, which is going to knock him back a little bit in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, he already had a 3-second penalty before, but now that's going to be only a little bit more of a inconvenience there for him. But C. Faulkner still keeping him on his toes here and to put up a 4th place. We've got Street Boy here still keeping Rexy Boy looking in his mirrors. We see Street Boy missing his braking point, having to take evasive action there to avoid running back into the back of his teammate. That would have been a catastrophic blow to the guys at Maranello if he had taken him out there. But it's all well and good here between these drivers. T's now got an 18-second penalty, which means he's managed to accrue 6 different track limit violations. No, well, technically you get 3 warnings for every 3 seconds, so that's 18 track limit violations. Which is not, I'm sure, not what T had been planning before this race. Matty Pitt's got another penalty, that's 9 seconds now. The Mercedes drivers, I'll tell you what, Toto Wolff is going to be out in and he's going to be doing his nutting. Because his drivers seem to be making up their own circuit tonight. I mean, that's 27 track limit violations between them. I'm sure that the Mercedes debrief is going to be censored very much on track limits, but nonetheless, Justify has made the move on Matty Pitt at the end of the straight, back up into second place here. So these two continuing to trade places. Justify with no penalties, but obviously 9 seconds behind Glenn now, so I think maybe the chance to salvage a win here has potentially gone begging. And Davidoff mentioning earlier how it could have been a fairy tale home victory for Justify. I think that might not be happening. Oliver's retired, says Davidoff. Yep, indeed he has. So I'm not sure whether that's a crash or whether it's a rage quit there from Oliver, but whatever the case, with 6 laps left to go, we're down to 11 drivers here. Obviously we did have 12, we're saying that we've actually got 10 because Davidoff's AI has been in the car since the very early stages of the race. Oh, got through my mic there. Oh, Jesus Christ, sorry. Do apologise. Oh, God, that's grim. Yeah, do apologise, everybody. I don't want to make this all about me. I don't want to, act like an egotistical maniac, but essentially I'm suffering horrendously at the moment with a very debilitating cough, which has been actually a story of my life so far this year, to be honest. It's the 3rd time this year that I've had a cough, a very severe cough. It really is incredibly painful, I have to say, and when you spend 3 nights a week shouting at the TV, watching 10 cars being driven by real people, you do find that losing your voice is actually a major ball ache. But in the meantime, we see Matty Pitt's got back ahead of Justify up into second place. These two continue to swap places here in the battle for second place. Shame about Matty Pitt's penalty, because without that we could have seen a real fight for this second place. Glenn has been on another level tonight, lads, says Bates, and indeed he has. He's been absolutely class of the field, hasn't he? Been a phenomenal drive here from our championship leader tonight. Has barely put a foot wrong all race. Towards the end of the first stint, his pace dropped off a little bit, and I was wondering maybe he had taken too much out of the tyres. I thought maybe that theme could be repeated in this second stint, but no such instances. He's just been putting distance between himself and these other two, Matty Pitt and Justify. They're the only ones who can even get anywhere near him tonight. Oh, Glenn has just got a 3-second penalty there. So let's stop waxing lyrical about him, because who knows what he might do if we continue. But nonetheless, Rexy Boy on the back of Street Boy, his Ferrari teammate. These two continue to battle for 6th and 7th places. Justify is running pretty close here on Matty Pitt at the moment in this battle for 2nd place as it continues on. Matty's comfortable here to Freddie for the podium place, so he can fight this one. He'll be wanting to, I'm sure, have a good battle here, and we'll be wanting to finish 2nd on the track. It'll be a bit of pride at stake here for Matty, I'm sure about that. Despite his penalty, he'll want to have those bragging rights and come over the line ahead of Justify. And he can afford to do it, because Freddie is too far behind to be able to capitalise. Freddie himself has got a 6-second penalty. Also noticing here, Freddie has managed to gap C. Faulkner a little bit here, so it's now almost 3 seconds between these two. C. Faulkner has a 3-second delta in his favour to Freddie in terms of penalties, so if Freddie can get a second further ahead than he is now, he'll be able to overcome that penalty deficit and get that P4 in the classification as well as on the track. So Freddie not far away from being able to achieve that goal. As Klein coming into turn 1 once again with the gap at around 10 seconds here to Justify and Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt still keeping Justify very much on his toes at the moment into turn 1. Rexy Boy well within a second of Street Boy as well, as they battle it out for 6th and 7th places here. T is currently in P9, about half a second off of Studio Cedar at this point, as they continue to battle it out for 8th and 9th places here. But Street Boy will be looking to try and get the bragging rights on his Ferrari teammate and make this move on the track, as well as obviously getting it on the classification with Street Boy's penalty. We got Scott there says, "Come on, Freddie, get the points for the Williams, lads." Yeah, he's currently close to getting P4. Davidoff, I have to say, he's not far away at all. He's now got the gap at almost 3 seconds, so he just needs to eke out a little bit more and then maintain it. As Matty again has made that move on Justify at the end of the straight. These two chopping and changing left, right, and centre here in these last few laps of the race. We approach the final 3 laps of the race. Glenn is about to start up 26 of 28. There are the other two, Matty Pitt and Justify. We see Rexy Boy there moving ahead of Street Boy up into P6 as well. As down the back straight they go. See T here making the move on G.C. at the end of the straight. Looking down the inside, is that going to be job done? I think it is, yeah. As T up into 8th place there, very nicely done. Matty Pitt is still just ahead of Justify in his battle for 2nd place. They're well ahead of Freddie running in 4th place. But Freddie, as I say, has got a battle going on here with C4. Saying that C4 has actually managed to maintain the gap on that last lap. It's been just under 3 seconds now for a couple of laps, so maybe C4 is starting to get a bit more confident here in these last few laps. Might be able to stay within that 3 seconds he needs to. Saying that, the gap's just managed to push over 3 seconds there between Freddie and C. Faulkner, which is exactly what Freddie needs at this point. Justify in the meantime is going to make the move here on Matty Pitt back up into 2nd place. Routine stuff there for him. As Davidoff moving ahead of T up into 9th place. That's Davidoff's AI there, moving ahead of T and his 18-second penalty. It's not the night at all for T here, I have to say. But in the meantime, the battle for 2nd place still rages on. Battle for 1st, 6th and 7th also continuing to enthrall us here on the channel. We've got Street Boy here getting close to the back of Rexy Boy, but not close enough. We've got Davidoff there says Mr. Fulton is missing part of his wing. That's why he's struggling for pace. Oh, that would explain it, because he was well on the pace of Freddie a few laps ago. Oh, did Freddie and Faulkner come together? That'd be a shame if that's the case, because it might... I mean, hopefully it wasn't Freddie's fault if that's the case, because that would put a bit of a dent on his 4th place here. But nonetheless, he's had a very strong last few laps and has pulled out the gap. He's done what he needed to do here, and he'll score some very good points here for the Williams team as well, as things stand. As T's made the move on Davidoff's AI back up into 9th place. Glenn has got a lap and a half to go, and he's got over a 10-second gap over Justify and Matty Pitt, so he is absolutely in control at the moment. Nobody else is on the level of this driver out the front. He is totally dominant here in this one. Street Boy here on the back of Rexy Boy is going to make the move back on his Ferrari teammate there, up into 6th place as these two continue to fight it out. But Rexy Boy will know about Street Boy's penalty there. Won't be in too much of a rush or a panic to get back ahead, knowing that that penalty will kick in and demote his teammate behind him, and also potentially G.C. as well, because he's not far away. Although the delta in penalty is only 6 seconds between Street Boy and G.C. So G.C. would need to gain about a second in order to be able to be within that range. So Glenn is on the final lap of the race. Here, 10 seconds gap to Justify. Looking like he's pretty much got this one sewn up, barring any major catastrophes on this final lap of the race. It's Justify and Matty Pitt, less than a second between those two. At the moment, Matty Pitt getting closer and closer to the back of Justify here, with DRS looking to the inside. This is surely going to be a move here with Matty Pitt on the last lap. He'll have the bragging rights of finishing ahead of Justify here after a great race-long battle between these two. He has track position here in these final few corners, and that looks like it could be job done here. In the meantime, Street Boy and Rexy Boy continuing to fight it out here. Rexy Boy will look to try and return the favour that Street Boy did down the back straight on the previous lap. But in the meantime, we've got to go to the race leader, because Glenn is coming into the final corner here at the Circuit of the Americas, and it's going to be another victory on the road to what is surely going to be a championship here for Glenn, as he comes over the line, and he is your US Grand Prix race winner tonight for Purple Sector, round 19 of 24 here for season 12. Fantastic drive from Glenn. Matty Pitt comes over to take second on the track, but Justify is second overall, with Matty Pitt completing the podium. It's going to be Freddie to come through the final few corners. C4 has picked up another penalty there on the final lap of the race, but Freddie is going to come around the final corner here to take 4th place here at COTA tonight. It's going to be C. Faulkner who will bring it home to finish in P5. A bit of a gap back to Street Boy, who's just coming into the final 2 corners here, so it's going to be P6 here for Street Boy, just ahead of his teammate Rexy Boy, who will get him on the penalties. So Street Boy stayed ahead of Rexy Boy down that final DRS zone, but Rexy Boy's 6th. Street Boy comes over to take P7 in the end. It's going to be G.C. to finish the race in 8th, not too far behind the Ferraris in the end. And then in 9th place it's going to be, well, on the track it's going to be T, but I think Davidoff's AI will pip him to 9th on the penalties. So T comes over in 9th place, but Davidoff's AI is going to salvage 2 points. I don't think he's going to score 2 points, though. I don't think the Purple Sector rules accounts for AIs competing for points. So Davidoff's AI 9th, T 10th, and White Shadow Hull is going to come into the final couple of corners here. And it's going to be 11th place here for White Shadow Hull. Obviously, we lost Oliver a few laps from the end. It was looking like we were going to have all 12 starters finish, obviously, with a bit of an asterisk next to this man here. But White Shadow Hull over the line takes P11. And that is that then tonight, guys, for the action here at COTA for the US Grand Prix at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Thanks to everybody for watching, especially to Davidoff and Basin for keeping us company over the course of the race. But yeah, thanks again. Join us on yeah, it's Tuesday, yeah. So we got more racing on get my words out. We got more racing in 2 nights' time for the Mexican Grand Prix. Join us. Basin will be back out on track for that one. Looking forward to seeing Basin making his return to the F1 circuit here at Purple Sector. We'll be back for the Mexican Grand Prix, or the Mexico City Grand Prix, as it's known nowadays. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all very, very soon. Take it easy, and good night.